So Greyboxing. I've had a lot of fun with this. Since this is the very beginning of the video, I'm going to show the methodology for my process, like how I get this done, and what tools I'm using. Unreal Engine, I'm on 5.5. I'm at a point in this now where I don't feel it necessary to upgrade for any other features. So I'm going to stick with. Hey, why is that over there? I'm going to stick with this version just to make sure that I maintain the compatibility with plugins that I'm using. The plugins I have active right now that I use more than anything is 3D Snapping Helper or Snapping Helper 3D. I've enabled modeling plugin, which is native to Unreal Engine. I do have City Builder, which is city build, world build. I use that for the roads, but I don't know if I'm going to keep that for this project. Since I'm not designing a game that uses a fictitious level, it's much harder to use road plugins. So yeah, if I were designing levels that were not based in reality, it'd be a lot easier for me to use those road tools. So I've had to find a lot of custom solutions, and that's really what I've started doing here. Let me actually turn this off. And I'm grayboxing on top of photogrammetry. So for reference, let me make sure my buildings are on and let me turn off the city roads in cesium. Let's see, data grayboxing, hidden stuff. I don't know what's up with these unloaded group actors. I can never. Ah, they loaded this time. And they're not supposed to be spatially loaded. So let me go ahead and save that. But let me also turn off some of this photogrammetry. Here's some of the progress that I have made. This is Memphis, Tennessee. Over the last 10 hours, I've been working on several buildings. There's a Sun Studios building, minus some window details and treatments. There's this building. I really think this right here is so cool. Let me. Oh, look at that. Oh my gosh. I think this shit is so cool. I'm using native modeling tools, Unreal Engine's native modeling tools to build all of this. And over the last 10 hours, I've pretty much knocked out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 buildings in some pretty high detail. I unfortunately had to restart my grayboxing because I was not at all satisfied with how some things had turned out with the tools that I was previously using. But you know, everything's coming together now in a way that I'm very much satisfied with. I wasn't thinking that. But I was using SketchUp to do the details on my buildings, but now I'm only using SketchUp for things like logos and other details that I can't quite achieve in Unreal. We're listening to Sims Build Mode music. Nostalgic, productive. Sounds great. I love it. And this is just some progress, and I'll show you how I'm doing the Greybox thing once I do a quick run through. Like talking all over the place. I need to get a couple more webcams so I can have a hand cam as well as my back cam. 3D snapping helper, native modeling tools. That's not supposed to be visible. Let's see. Yeah, various boxes. Line tool, bro. Let's make this hidden. Let's also move it. Why is it so hot? And it's the cesium photogrammetry that is kind of in the way. I also want that to be hidden. So I can just move it down slightly. Actually, I need it, except for to do the rows. So let's turn it both off for now. Let's see what else we got. We just now I'm loving that road so much more than Cityville's roads. Cityville's roads are flat. Where my custom road has a little bit of a curve to it. And there's plenty of stuff that I've not finished. Shoot, I'm not gonna be able to walk over here. So stuff like this, I'll do in SketchUp. The logos. And I take that from Affinity. I'll design the logo in Affinity Designer, and then I'll export it from as an SVG, convert it to a DXF, import it into SketchUp, and then make whatever extrusions I need. Extrude it, make it 3D, color it, bring it into Unreal Engine via Datasmith, and then scale and position it as I need to. Lots of detail. Heck yeah. Ah! Oh, wait, what am I jumping on? I wonder if I can get back up there. No. This road may end up being a decent solution to some of my issues. We're gonna try it and see, but I think it might have too many triangles. Southwest Tennessee Community College, University of Tennessee. Lots that I haven't done to it. I haven't added window details because I'm not focused on that right now. But this was the last 10 hours worth of strain. Right. There are some gray boxes for you. I like to do pretty high detail gray boxing, and then I'll take the gray boxes and I'll modify them to add detail. So let me show you that now. Here's a gray box, and it's a work in progress. Detail is about to be added to it. I use 3D snapping helper with some mathematical equations to help me, solve my building footprint issues, and to build what I call the silhouette of the building, the outline. So I think I need to enable unhide piece of G4. So, let's figure it out. I don't know. There it is. It's in game, so it wasn't showing up. All right, this is photogrammetry. Typically what I'll do is I'll keep my walls the same width, and I like to go into modeling mode, create a box under the create tab, and I keep it as a static mesh as the output type. Keep all the everything default, width, depth, height, 100 unreal units or meters, I don't know what it is. And then I'll attach it to one of my existing walls, because whenever you throw a box down, it'll attach to the closest normal, and it'll face that same orientation as the closest norm. I hit accept, and then I'll go into my favorites. Under favorites, I've got, and let me know, Chris, what's going on, Chris? Let me know if you can't hear my voice over the music. I do not mind adjusting. Okay. So I'll take these in my favorites. I have union, transform, convert, boolean, project UVs, bake transform, dynamic sculpt, polygroup edit, edit pivot, duplicate, edit materials, split, and remesh. The one I use more often than any is the polygroup edit. So I drop a box in here. It's its own mesh inside of my concept browser. It generates a new mesh. And it's the mesh. It's a box. I'll put a polygroup edit. and I'll use the polygroup editing tools with face, let's see, with face, node, and line enabled. And then I'll use the control button to help me snap to different objects. All right, so manipulating those faces, I'll manipulate the top, bring it up, and then I'll go down and grab the bottom. And then I'll throw that pretty much under the photogrammetry, under the ground. And I'll try to get the exact same base for all of my buildings. Try to get the same footprints underneath the ground for all of my walls. All right, then I'll just scale it out and then hit save. And now I can move this wall anywhere. And since I already have walls that I've started, show you exactly how I manage and modify those. Man, let's see. So transform tool, middle mouse button lets you move the, forget what it's called, the pivot point. And then you can press Control to snap that pivot as you move it using the middle mouse button. Once I get on a corner that I'm satisfied with, I can then, make changes from that pivot point. I'm just going to go to Edit Pivot, and then when you edit the pivot, you can use the left mouse button, and this will permanently transform your pivot position. Accept. And then that, if you have any other meshes that, if you duplicated the mesh without making that duplicate a unique one, any changes you make to your source mesh will update all the other meshes. So because this one just got updated, I'll go into my favorites under modeling mode, and I'll choose Convert. Give me a second. Hey, please stop by. Where at? Got things to clean it up. It's okay, get image juice. Your image. Okay. All right, my bad. Ah, kids spilling juice. All right, so the very last thing I did was I made this mesh a unique one. All right, so if I hold down Alt and I use the move gimbal to move this mesh, it will duplicate it instead of moving it. That's what the Alt button does. Same thing happens when I use the rotate gimbal. It'll duplicate it. But these three meshes are now duplicates of one static mesh, which means if I go into polygroup edit and I modify this mesh, it'll also modify the other two. So let me undo that, undo. Now I have to make this mesh a unique one by using the convert option. So this will convert this selected mesh to its own static mesh in my content browser, basically in my Explorer, inside my Windows Explorer, there will be a new file for that 3D model instead of it being an instance of an existing. Now I can go into 3D Snapping Helper 3D, and then you've got these little nodes that you can use to manipulate your mesh. If I go into polygroup, I go into modeling mode, and then polygroup edit, you'll see that those nodes only show up anywhere there's a vertex. Or, yeah. So any of the vertices that are on the mesh will display a yellow node in the Snapping Helper 3D plugin. You can't use the Snapping Helper 3D plugin with modeling mode enabled, so when you open modeling mode, 3D Snapping Helper will turn off and vice versa. If I go and modify this mesh and let's say insert an edge loop, let's do even and hit done. If I go and accept, if I go into 3D Snapping Helper 3D, now you'll see those nodes on all of the vertices that I just created using the loop option under polygon head. So when you insert edge loops, all these little corners here are going to be nodes that you can snap to, right? So let's get to work. I'll go into Snapping Helper 3D, grab this node, use the scale tool, and then I'll scale this to where I want it to be. Grab the node on this other mesh, and then you can use Alt and Control to attach that node to another node in the left. All right, and that way you can make sure that your meshes are snapping together on the vertex. Then I usually keep 45-degree snapping enabled when I'm doing buildings, because 8 times out of 10 the buildings are going to have 90-degree angles. All right, so I scale that one, and then I could switch between the different actors, like the different pivot icons. So there's Q is for nothing. W is move. C. E is rotate, and then R is to scale. And then usually I just keep my fingers there, like I am playing a computer game, right? You know, you use WASD to navigate around level, right click, WSAD to move up, down, left, right. So when I let go of the right mouse click, I can switch between different tools. All right, so now that we're in 3D snapping helper, I can then hit Alt and then move this mesh and it'll duplicate it. And then Control and Alt to snap it at the corner. Hit E to rotate, and then I have it set to 45-degree snapping. Boom. So one thing I want to make sure is that every time I do this, let's see, this one, 8-1, 1-7, 1-7. Every time I duplicate a wall, I need to go into modeling mode and convert it. But that's something that I can wait to do after I've done building the entire structure. So let's move this. I like for my walls to overlap at the corners. If you get close enough, you'll see the textures kind of, you know, a little jittery because these walls are overlapping. Okay. I'll show you why I do that in a minute. Now I can take this and get over and then just snap it. Take this one, use the rotate tool, hit Control or Alt for me, rotate it, snap it, and scale. So I'm going to go ahead and fast track through this. There's a wall back here that already has the same length that I need, so I'm going to duplicate it, snap it here. Take this wall, snap it there. And scale it a little bigger. All right, let's make sure we don't have any duplicates, which I know we have a few. So this is, so it looks like this with these walls. To modeling mode with all those walls selected and just hit convert and accept, and they will all be unique. It's this one. Let's see, 66. I think that's it. It's on mesh. I'll group edit. This last wall, I can then just push into this wall and use the control button to lock it or snap it. Right? And there's one of my buildings. I'll turn off this photogrammetry. You'll see that's what my building looks like. Before I continue, I'll stay in polygroup mode, and then I'll grab this line, and then I'll use the blue axis, and then hit Control to, when I move this, I'll hit Control so we can snap to this wall. And now that turned it into an angle corner. Do the same thing over here. Just grab a line. Boom. And accept. Okay, now I'll do this one. I'll group edit. This time, since one of these walls already has a corner, instead of using the blue axes to manipulate this line, I'm going to grab that square that's at the bottom. So for me right now, it's a red square between the green and the blue axes. And that way I can move it freely. Then I'll hit Control to snap it. Show you that again. I can hit Control and snap it to that corner. That way I can always make sure that my wall, the corners are all lining up on the same pixel, because if it's even just a hair off, when you go to merge the two corners together, they actually won't form a solid piece. So let me go ahead and fast track this and you enjoy. Now I've got it all put together. Before I combine them, I'll grab them all, Control, Copy, Paste, and then we're going to move it up. And then I'll use the Union tool to combine them. This is going to turn it into a new mesh, but I can modify this mesh. I can add these and make sure we have the same footprint. Now I'm going to probably group edit this one, delete the interior walls, and this is going to give me a roof and floor. So let's delete those interior walls. And I think first I want to bridge a couple of lines. So let's take this line, let's bridge it. And then click one of the other lines and hit fill hole. And then merge, then invert selection, delete. And then grab this face and do a push pull. Doesn't matter how thick. Let me take all of those faces and then duplicate. And then we're going to use the Alt button and middle mouse button. Actually, no, middle mouse button and Control to reposition my gimbal. And then we're going to move that duplicate down to this floor level. And then we're going to take the rooftop, use middle mouse button and Control to reposition the gimbal, or the gizmo, let's say gizmo, to the top most plane, and then left mouse button to move it down, holding Control to set it at the same height as a rooftop. Actually, we set it to this corner because these rooftops are a different height. Then I can reposition my gizmo. I call it gizmo. Reposition my gizmo at this rooftop corner, and then move it down and hold Control to set at the depth of the roof. That'll give me the same, like it'll set it down the same distance from using other assets as a resource when transforming with the gizmo tool. Hit accept. Great. Let's see here. I do believe that specific building design gets duplicated a few times. So before I move on to the next wall, we're going to merge this building, union, accept. And now I want to edit the pivot. I can use the left mouse button to drag it, and then I'll just pick a corner. I also have to rotate it. I'll turn this 45-degree angle snapping off, and I'll rotate it and use it another corner to make sure that that is perpendicular, parallel, and whatever. Make sure it's aligned. And accept. Now what I can do is I can hold Alt and drag. Actually, not do that. I want to grab those in the floor as well. So let me turn how many times this needs to be again. 1, 2, and then we have 3 that are reversed. So let's duplicate it twice first. Turn on parametry. Let's grab the roof and floor, and then the walls. We actually update the gizmo for the roof and floor. Edit pivot. All right, so if I click my building, walls, if I click the roof and floor, my pivot should be in the same spot now. So I'll grab both, and then I'm going to duplicate it twice. 1, 2. Then I'll grab all 3 of these and do a Control copy paste, and then we'll just move it over. Let's see if I can, right click, transform mirror X. And then I can transform. Let's move this gizmo, the middle mouse button. And then let's move it to this corner. And then rotate it to here. All right, cool. So let's turn on the grammetry. Let's see if we can position these, and let's see if there's anything that needs to be changed on any of them. So you never know. Again, this is the real world, and some of these buildings might be built a little bit different. As in human error. Doesn't gotta be perfect, it just needs to be close enough. Right, those two are all three of them are facing the same way. So I could turn on 45-degree snap, rotate it, and move one at a time. Another tip is you can middle mouse button. I think alt middle mouse button will move the gizmo wherever you click temporarily, so you don't have to go looking for it. All right, that's grayboxing. That just made my job that much easier, that much faster. It's not always going to work like that, but when it does, we love it. So I'll do another fast track here, and I'll get the rest of this building model. I actually don't want this little weird change here. So maybe an executive decision and get rid of it. Even though it's physically removable. Now, every time I duplicate a mesh, I convert it to its own static mesh, just so you remember to also do that yourself. 45-degree snap, and that shit fits perfectly. Check. Back to modeling mode. Haven't converted these yet. I will soon. Making some changes that are quick. And now, maybe copy place this, and then go into model mode and do a poly. No, transform. Well, we don't know exactly where that one needs to be. So I'll just extend these together. And then we do some Boolean operations to mitigate this. Let's do conversion. Let's figure out what we converted as. I think it was this one. This is, I can look at the static mesh box inside of my details panel. This one has the number 10 on it, and this one has number 26. So this one should also have 26. Yeah, so everything there and after needs to be converted. And we code it. Take this, go into 3D mode, do a copy paste, and then I'm just going to modify this using 3D helper, 3D snapping helper 3D. So when you modify it this way using the gizmo, it doesn't actually change the reference mesh. When you do a polygroup edit, you're actually editing the polygroups. inside of the original mesh. That's what you don't want to do. If you're so, I'm doing this because I'm going to use this as a Boolean operation to cut this mesh. So I grab the mesh that I'm going to cut, I grab the mesh I'm going to cut it with, go to modeling mode, and then, wait, before I do that, copy this one over too. So you can see this mesh right here that's sticking out. I want to cut it, and I want to use the edge of this wall as the line where I want to make my cut. So I'll grab this wall using the snapping helper to the plugin. So grab that vertex right here. Then I'll go into copy paste. Then hit R to go into transform mode, and then I can reverse this to kind of give it a negative transform. Uh-oh, looks like it's in the wrong place. And within the vertex again. See the legs. There we go. So I can click on that vertex, and now it's not giving me a gap there. Click on that vertex again. So transform it outwards, transform it downwards, and then I'll go into my move tool and then move it out just a little bit. So let me delete or hide photogrammetry so you can see what I mean. So I've got that mesh right there going into this big one at the top and at the bottom so that I can know that it's going to get cut how I want it. So the second mesh I'll cut is going to, or that I pick, is going to be the one I'm going to use to cut. Go into modeling, into my favorites and Boolean, and this is going to be difference A minus B. So A, the mesh I selected first, minus B, the mesh I selected second, except now it's cut. I'll do the same thing here. So if I move this, you can see how this mesh is coming out of the wall. I need to cut it. So same situation. Boolean, accept. All right, now my building is closed on this side at least. And then we can go and do go to my modeling. Polygon bedding tool. And make sure we can select lines. Rotate this. And it's not going to be perfect, but we can get something close to it. Accept. Do the same thing to this one. So make sure this is definitely on that edge. Flat, flat. Flat. So I do this with all of my corners. So make sure that anywhere that two walls meet, that they are perfectly aligned. Let's see what we're missing. So from here, all I need to do is grab new box. It's just Greybox. And before I get too carried away, once I create this box, I want to do a Control Shift S to save not only the changes that I've made, which you do with Control S, but also the meshes that I've created. And the only way to save meshes is with Control Shift S. Now, I don't know if I've lined all this up properly, but we're about to find out. So what we're going to do is make sure that, let's see, so I think this a little bit too, it needs to be moved slightly to the right. So let me first start with this mesh. Both of these. See if these are aligned. Let's grab one of these and then transform. So, see this. Save that. Grab these two. And then transform. I group edit these to fix their alignment. right. So that lines up with that and that. This lines up with that and that. And I think everything is now in its correct place. So three tool, two nouns. Now these together, it is rotate, 45-degree rotation. Okay. This aligns with anything, so we can just free and scale that. Let's make sure. We can do that in a minute. Now, modeling tools, grab both of these and convert them. Like group edit this one. And while I'm at it, I can go ahead and actually no, it's not doing that yet. So we want to get transform. These two and transform. Technically, I think I should be able to just grab what I've done with this other building. Let me preserve this and let's go and grab these so that what we use has the exact same dimensions. Let's copy paste, transform, and then we're going to transform from the corner of this building. To the corner of this one. And it fits really well. Take this one that I reserved, go to 3D. 45. I should be in the right spot. I believe this was a unique mesh. Let's go ahead and look at that. Doesn't look like there's anything that this can reference. So we're just going to eyeball it. And then I can duplicate this. Then I can go underneath. Grab all three of these. Stretch them at the same time. Make this unique. Oh, it's already unique. Oh, they're already all unique. Okay. Sure. Oh. No, it's not. Tripping. Okay. All right, so these two, I can copy paste and then transform. I'm going to use the corner of this building. Yeah, I figured that was going to be off something. Right about that. That's what I get. Now I can go ahead and just start with some corner editing. Fortunately, we did all these already, so it's the beauty of using math, man. I don't think this Sims music has changed. I'm gonna have to do a YouTube video. It's the same. So let's go to this one. Maybe yeah. See that little gap right there? That's what we don't. Tell if there's actually a gap. It's possible that there isn't. And it's just a rendering issue. I think that's what it is. All right, let's see if we can find anything else that's not sliced up correctly. All right, back to the photo parameter. Make sure this is appropriately aligned. Oh, messed up.
I messed one of them up.
Oops. As my grandmother used to say, oops. What do you think this is? It's box. So maybe something's weird. So it wasn't its own box. Control Shift S. Get all that shit saved. Man, whoever thought it was a great idea to put piano the Sims. Gosh. Ah, need to be hired for some more projects. Man, so y'all believe it or not, this is actually like the fourth time that I've done this building. This time it's just been with new methodology. Don't worry about that little thing right now. All right, so let's figure out how we want to. How we want to create these rooftops. I think the easiest way would be to go from the floor up. So let's turn off this. And I think it's time for some ambience. Yep. All right, so let's turn these curves and sidewalks off. Let's turn off all of these static meshes and the LUTs. Landscape, Greyboxing, yeah, the cesium. We could turn off the buildings too. There's that way. Oh man. Yeah, I gotta be back for a bit. I've been so irritated. You wouldn't believe me if I told you I've been modeling for 12 hours straight. Stretch legs. All right. Let's see, is that all of them? Just copy and paste that? Yeah. All right, let's put this high up in the sky. Save. Let's get rid of these floors. Let's take all of that. Minus the sky. And we should be good to convert it. Let's make sure all of our corners are actual corners. Okay. Oh my lordy. Right. Let's see what we can make of this. Let's go ahead and save this. And we're gonna party group edit this big thing and see if we can maybe get away with some slick stuff here. I'm gonna try to delete all the walls. Actually, none of our floors are selected. Delete. Select all of that. Oh man, it's a big floor plan. Merge. Now I would assume there's something that did merge, but if we played our cards right, everything should be merged. Well, looks like there's one thing that didn't. And why did this not merge? Line. Let's see. It's not together. Figured. All right. So before I continue, this line, which means the other one is probably the same then, right? What's the other? Yeah. So what I have to do is go here. And see if we can fix that. Well, they are together. So is it the bottom? Um, got a little hidden face in there. That's weird. Not exactly sure how I would mitigate that. But first, let's remove this line. Uh, hmm. I'll fix that. All right then. Let's do what we just did and see if we can find a solution. Like by accident. Let's see. It's one mesh and another mesh. Uh, oh my gosh, if y'all could hear that and feel it. Oh, that was amazing. Okay. So this isn't connected at all. So I think we need to find a way to this. So I think we need to create a edge, insert an edge. Let's try this first. Let's grab this edge. Move it here. Why that's different, I don't know. Something about it is definitely different. Weird. You know, this is pretty space. Yeah, I don't know what's happening there, to be honest. Okay. Hold up. Hold up. How, Sway? How? You ain't got the answers. Honestly, feeling a bit clueless. Don't know what it's doing. I think maybe I moved it. Okay. Okay. Let's get rid of that. Let's delete it. That means we're gonna have two of those meshes. Good, brute, top of the morning to you. Uh, this thing is doing. Hey, man. What the God? Okay. We might need to redo this one mesh or something. We gotta do something to it. There ain't no way that's doing it. All right, so what I can do is let's just grab it all. Minus this and this and this. Base. Oh, base. All right, let's try this again, y'all. But I got a different method, I think. A little different method to this madness. I'm going to have to convert this and poly it and move it into the wall. Maybe I have been up. I've been live streaming. I took a break from the stream, but I still worked on the computer. But I've been streaming for 12 hours straight. So we'll see. I just ate like 3 meals. And I think eating as much as I just did might make me want to take a nap. What am I doing? First, I group that. See. I don't know. I think I'm probably gonna work all night because I have my weekly meetings on Tuesdays and Fridays. Some business folks, and I want to work on this and have more progress. Actually, there's not a Jack Furtle's chicken anywhere close to where I'm doing my edits anytime soon, but because I am marketing person for Jack Purtle's, I actually considered doing all of the Jack Purtle's chicken's locations and making just one map with all the Jack Purtle's in it. So have you had Jack Purtle's before? Love chicken from Popeyes. What? That's locked. So why would they even let me perform that operation if it's locked? Stupid. Bruh. Okay, let's try this again. It's about time Will Smith divorced that bald-headed buster. Okay, bye. You should have done that a long time ago. Stayed on some goofy stuff. All right, let's try this again. Polygroup edit, faces only. All right. Let's go to. Oh, it didn't merge again. This is literally the only piece that I created like that. Why is it? Oh, I bet you that's what it is. You Murasoka. Ah, Murasoka. 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 All right, let's insert an edge like here. I can't do it like that. Won't let me. Okay. I know what I'm going to do. Ah, won't let me do that either. Already. There we go. 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 Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know it's about to go down. Yeah, we gonna make this shit work, y'all. Yeah, I get locked tonight. Man, this is so gazing. There we go. Locked. Locked in. Let's take this and this. Rigid. Okay, okay. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. Yes, Lord. And I should be able to merge. Okay, then. Okay. Yeah. I knew we was gonna figure it out. There's always a way. Always a way. You know we're gonna figure it out. Bridge. Bridge. Okay then. Yeah. Who said we wasn't gonna do it? Oh, wait, got an issue. Oh, lordy. Looks like that's the only one. I think it's because of this guy. Yep. So let's go like this. And let's move it back like so. So the same for this guy. Okay, create an edge here. And it's not let me do that either, is it? Nope. Man, I swear it's always something. Ain't it? Isn't it? Okay, let's try from here. This is not making an edge for some reason. Let's try to simplify by groups then. Simplify by groups. Insert edge. Nope. Okay. Insert edge. Nope. Oh, lordy. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's try something different. What are we gonna try? Oh, okay. Let's think. Merge selected boundary edges, moving the first edge to the second. I don't think that's gonna work. First of all, continue. That's great. Accept. Save. Two things won't save. That's fine. Continue. Okay. Now, let's try this again. Let's grab this. Is that gonna work? Because so let's take this and compose. Insert edge from here to here. And from here to here. Let's take this one and rotate to there. Move it to there. Take this one, rotate to there. And move it here. Do the same things like this. Honestly, I don't think that's how that's supposed to work. I don't think so. So let's do this and this and bridge it. And then we should be able to delete this edge. I can't delete it. Can't delete the edges. Oh, but I can delete this face and then I can bridge this. Yay! All right, let's check again. Quick check, quick check, quick check. I absolutely love music like this, or should I say, vocalizations. Sounds like it's mostly Vox, Vox, with a little bit of synth underneath it. It's between a lead and a wire. Should play with those wire sounds all the time. Everyone's cool. All right, I think that did the trick. So, what we do now, snap, I gotta figure out which ones have. So I have four, so let's go here and fill that hole first. These two can be filled. Yeah, buddy. All right, now take all of those, invert selection, delete faces, and grab everything again. Push pull. It can be very tiny, doesn't matter. Set. And now, that's exactly what I needed. Let's transform. Boom. Yes, sir. Skate. Okay, let's grab another one. Let's turn on our tree. And so we got 1, 2, 3, 4 that need to be modified. So I group edit. Okay, that was a little different. Think of that. But I think I have a solution for it. I definitely have a solution for it. Let's take this. It's got a little lane to it. Dang, a little lane. Select our lines. Just these. Right there. Now we're cooking, buddy. Cooking. Yeah, boy. Accept, save. And let's grab a box. Let's polygate that box. Oops. That's cool. You just like that. Just like that, yeah. Yep. Actually, I'll probably be better than then do a little. Actually, looks good to me. All I gotta do is Boolean and then probably be better. Wait a okay, wait a minute. Hold up. Turn it off. Excuse me. Okay. And let's split. And let's go back to photogrammetry. And let's just move this one. You don't know how far down, but definitely just move it down now for now. Yeah. Yeah. Alrighty then. There's that. All right, no textures on it right now. I think I might worry about that a little bit later. But at the very least, let's grab all of these meshes from the photogrammetry. And let's make sure they are in the appropriate folder, which is going to be 737 Union folder. Okay, so yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah, I'll turn all this building back on. Turn on our herbs and stuff. All right, grab these large ones, group it. These medium ones, group it. Grab these small ones, group it. And let's go back and these. Let's make sure these are not spatially loaded. Let's double check. We should not have anything spatial. Nothing there. Yeah, cut. Yeah. We have trees spatially loading right now? You know what? I forgot all about these trees. Select it. Here we go. There's a lot's kind of looking a little funny, but did we knock it out? Yeah. Spatially, not spatially loaded. Let's turn these lights back off. Cause what did you do? Not really feeling the lots. Brass yet. So it didn't turn out how I wanted it to. For a quick stroll in this joint. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah. Do a tilde. Cut this music way down. And we're going to turn up our OBS audio. Feels like it's really still very loud. Oh, no, no. I just made these and they just happen to be at the appropriate scale. I don't have any collisions on any of this stuff, though you can technically still step up lightly. I'm just trying to find those collisions. Look at us. That's an appropriate road design. Chemical trails. Stress testing. Okay. Let me move myself. figure out why that's so. I think I pushed that down in there. Uh, oh, right there. Just those. I think I set them all to go down. Maybe. It's the bottom of these, don't they? So really, it's just sitting there. So let's go ahead and excuse me. All right, there's my 2 hours for you. This is not done, textured, or anything, but got the outline. And I think that's worth plenty. The hardest part for me is probably going to be staging street elements, like getting paths, walkways, roadways, curbs, parking lots, driveways. There's a lot going on in this. And it's no wonder this is worth as much as it is. It's architectural twins. Anyways, cool thing about the bridge, I turned it into one main asset, one mesh, I mean. So if I move this up, you can see it's one whole mesh. And I think it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. I can't wait to do the bridge by the One Island, just like this. And it's all textured as one mesh. Let's run through it. If we can, I don't know if we can. I think there's some photogrammetry that might be in the way. Spawn inside photogrammetry. I think One of these was supposed to have mesh in it. Glass. Really good. Man, y'all, I'm not gonna lie, this shit looks hard. This shit looks so good. Oh, man. If I stay right there, though, and then I go into lighting, can I change the lighting? Yeah, that's kind of moody. Want to see if I can make it orange. So let's say, oh, that's nice. I need to change the epic settings. Leave it as it is. See what we can do with cloudy. So it is on the outside, just not on the inside because I merged it all. Oh, and then cloudy, rain, light. Well, I'm reason we're gonna get up there anyways. That's a pretty cool feature. Let's go ahead